Hello. I'm just out here celebrating 4th of July weekend, and what better way to celebrate the independence of our nation than to catch up on the good old tales of ex-Secretary of Defense and Director of S.H.I.E.L.D. You know him, I know him, we all love him, Mr. Iron Man. This weekend we'll be looking at a very special line, a line that's pretty close to my heart. It's a line recently taken over by Hasbro. Now you'd instantly think Marvel Legends. This is not necessarily a Marvel Legends line, it's more of a spin-off line. As we all know, when Toy Biz had the Marvel Legends licensing, they often did the movie franchises as well. Same scale, same basic figure, often same sculpt. Now Hasbro took their own turn, and I gotta say, I am mixed on my impressions. This, of course, is the classic Iron Man. This is the movie version. Excellent figure, but just to give you a standard of what to look at, I give you Series 1 of Marvel Legends. This is a classic. This is definitely a classic figure. Mr. Tony Stark here. This is a Toy Biz version of it. We see here great sculpt, a little bit of a loose waist, but given this is a very old figure, this was done, this first series of their Marvel Legends debut. We look at, the sculpt is great. Got a few special joints, interesting in the thigh. We have the pivot joints, of course, almost like a G.I. Joe it feels like because it's so loose. Excellent detail, especially when you remove his faceplate. You can see the wonderful Mexican look-alike of Tony Stark. Put that right back on. The paint scheme is pretty good. I don't know if you can see this, but a bit of a sculpted issue on the side there. I'm not sure if that was just mine, but I have heard a few complaints. Given this was the very first entry of Toy Biz's line, so it's not going to be perfect. But at the time of this figure's release, this was the best Iron Man available. And I was very, very pleased to obtain it. Just to recap, great looking scheme. It's almost like a shiny scheme, which is necessary. My one big complaint about this figure being his muscular body. I'm not envious. I'm just saying that it's kind of unnecessary since he has armor. Why does his armor contort to his body so closely? It's like it's spandex. But I mean, besides that, great figure. Got his girders on the side. Again, removable faceplate. Great accessories, all in all. And as we all know, Toy Biz seemed to love Iron Man. It was almost like their version of Wolverine, because every other line, if not every wave, had another variant of Iron Man. And we all know Iron Man has had thousands of different suits and combinations. Here's just another version of it. This is the Thor Buster Iron Man, the version of Iron Man where he fought Thor and got owned. Very interesting figure. It's much larger, has the same basic paint scheme in the sense it almost has a shiny glare to it. Same articulation points. I believe it's up in the 30s. I think it's about 37 points. I didn't count. We got the double jointed knee, which is very useful. And the waist seems to be much more secure compared to the other one. You still got the pivot joint up in his abdomen, very interesting. And the faceplate still removes. Still looks like Tony Stark there, less Mexican, which is cool. Now, when we compare this figure to the recent Hasbro Iron Man, we look at the figure, and don't get me wrong, this is a phenomenal figure. If you can just see, the paint scheme is wonderful. It has that shiny glare to it. Less speckly, I'd say, than the Toy Biz version. We still have the great articulation, especially the double jointed elbows, which I'm very impressed with. We only have one joint in the knee, which kind of looks better when he's sitting down. You know, Marvel, of course, Iron Man always likes to sit down at his meetings when he's talking to George Bush. It comes with these shoulder pads, which are a bit, I don't know, 1980s to me. I really don't see their purpose because, to tell you the truth, it looks good just without. But they're kind of annoying because they fall off pretty easily. Of course, he does not have a removable faceplate, and that's definitely a con. But besides that, absolutely wonderful figure. When I stand him up in comparison to our Marvel Legends, the original Toy Biz version, you can kind of tell that the scale's a bit off. And this is not rare. Even in the Toy Biz versions of their movie lines, like the X-Men, I believe they did an X-Men 1 through 3. Actually, no, 3 didn't get a line. But even with the X-Men 1 and 2, we did notice the figures to be a slightly smaller scale. I can only imagine because they were contributing to the fact that these are real humans playing them. And perhaps they had a better scanning device that could tell the scale. I don't really care for that because when you put them up against, let's say, the Toy Biz version of War Machine, which was definitely one of my favorites, he just looks a bit smaller. Now, they did fix the whole contorting to the muscle idea of the armor, which is cool. It was very good. But, as a negative, no finger articulation. You might have very small fingers, can't exactly hold a gun, not that Iron Man needs it. But if we look at the original, his hands open up perfect for repulsor blasts, which is, as we all know, Iron Man's main weapon. Now, he's got these little missile launchers on his hands, which are really cool. I kind of miss the classic pose of Iron Man. The strong, sturdy repulsor blast from the hands. That's just me. Moving on, I actually have this movie version of Iron Man up on the original base that came with the Toy Biz variant. This is a Tony Stark, I guess it's the top of the building, it's a sign. You can actually hang it up, it has a little hanger there, up on the wall. And he stands right on it, and I tell you the truth, it looks great with my collection. It looks better than the original. So that's one thing that I definitely miss from the Hasbro versions, is they don't give it enough accessories. Moving on, here is another version, another figure from the the Hasbro version of the movie Iron Man figures. Here we have Iron Monger. Again, we don't have a faceplate that removes, but that's okay because technically he doesn't have a face. This was an entire cockpit that removed for Jeff Bridges to sit in. And there is a variant, not sure if you can see it, there is a variant where he comes without the top. You can actually assemble it. I did not like this because I found it to be very loosely structured. It would fall off on me. But it's a great looking figure. We have awesome articulation. I believe the sculpt is one of a kind. You have a lot of gears. It looks very metallic. It's a generally very heavy figure, which is really good because it makes you feel like you really put some good money into something. The last figure, I just want to show you the packaging. The reason I bring up this Iron Man movie series of figures is simply because I was walking into my local retailer, Walmart, and I saw that they had released the new wave. Here's one of my favorite figures from the Marvel Universe, a great villain, Titanium Man, from the ex-Soviet days when they used to fight the real enemies, the communists. This is Titanium Man. It looks great. This is the general packaging. All the packaging is exactly the same with the Iron Man line. It's a very good looking package. We got the movie up here, the movie picture of Iron Man, which looks just like the comic. You got the nice title. It's a very simple blister package. Unfortunately, I haven't seen any grade A packaging released in stores. You'd have to order those straight from Hasbro. Very easy to open, as you can see here. I want to open it. It's against all collectors everywhere. But if anybody's very familiar with the Toy Biz version of Marvel Legends, we're all used to the clamshell packaging, which you honestly need the jaws of life to open those up. Very simple. Pop them out. They don't use any stickies or rubber bands. Now, Titanium Man here is an excellent figure. Brand new sculpt, as you can see. He's got a green variance on his fingers there, so you can tell they actually didn't just steal the mold from the Iron Man, which is great. It's always refreshing to see that they're building new sculpts. Again, it makes me know that I am spending good money. Again, no removable faceplate, but that's okay, because no one really wants to see a communist. He has these removable shoulder pads from the 80s again, but unlike the Iron Man, these things are very secure. I mean, in fact, when you take them off, as you can see, it's very difficult to put them back on. Yeah. Anyways, it's a great looking figure. He still has the exact same articulation as the other Iron Man, so I'd highly recommend it. Well, with that being said, thank you very much for joining me on my very first toy review. Thank you, and check back later.